In 1994, a man was convicted of a heinous crime based entirely on the vivid, crystal-clear testimony of a victim who was absolutely certain of her memory. She recounted the events with terrifying precision, describing the perpetrator's face, his voice, and the specific sequence of the attack. 20 years later, DNA evidence proved the man was innocent, and the memory was a complete fabrication created by the trauma of the situation. Your brain is not a camera, it is a storyteller that frequently rewrites its own history. You believe you are the protagonist of a consistent narrative, but what if I told you that your most cherished memories are merely unstable reconstructions, constantly edited by your current desires, fears, and the subtle pressures of social influence? This is not just a quirk of psychology, it is a fundamental flaw in the human machine, a glitch in the biological hardware that we mistake for a reliable recording device. Consider the case of Elizabeth Loftus, the pioneer of false memory research. She famously demonstrated that through simple, suggestive questioning, she could convince people they had been lost in a shopping mall as children, complete with detailed sensory recollections of an event that never occurred. These subjects didn't just accept a suggestion, they hallucinated the smell of the floor wax, the panic in their chests, and the face of the stranger who rescued them. The disturbing reality is that once a false memory is planted, it becomes indistinguishable from the truth in the eyes of the person holding it. But that wasn't even the worst part. The brain doesn't just store memories, it actively defends them, even when presented with cold, hard evidence that they are wrong. Why would an organ designed for survival insist on maintaining a lie? Perhaps because the truth is too terrifying to process, or because the brain values the internal consistency of its own narrative more than it values the objective reality of the external world. We are living in a self-constructed simulation where the walls are made of neural errors and the foundation is built on sand. Now, let's look at the Mandela Effect. It's a collective hallucination that has gripped millions of people across the globe. You remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s, right? You can recall the news footage, the somber faces of the reporters, the funeral procession, and the global mourning. You can almost feel the collective grief of that moment. Except, it never happened. He lived until 2013, serving as the president of South Africa long after he supposedly died. This isn't just one person making a mistake, it's a mass synchronization of false data. Is it a glitch in our shared reality, a tear in the fabric of the universe, or are we witnessing the inherent fragility of human consensus? When groups of people collectively hallucinate, it suggests that our shared reality is less of a solid bedrock and more of a shaky agreement between unreliable narrators. And then something even more disturbing happened. People started reporting differences in popular culture, the spelling of the Berenstain Bears, the logo of the Monopoly Man, the placement of continents on a map, the color of Pikachu's tail. When thousands of people remember the same false version of reality, it forces us to question the nature of objective truth itself. Are we shifting between timelines, or is there a systematic error in the way we store global information? Could it be that our brains are hardwired to correct information that doesn't fit our existing schemas? When the Monopoly Man doesn't have a monocle in our current reality, our brains feel a jarring sense of dissonance, so we reconstruct the image to match our expectations. The tension builds when you realize that your own internal map of the world is just as compromised as the collective one. You walk down the street and your brain fills in the gaps of your peripheral vision, creating a seamless image that simply doesn't exist in the raw sensory data. This is what scientists call cognitive illusions. Your eyes receive fragmented, low-resolution light, and your brain paints a masterpiece to keep you from going insane. But this painting is flawed. It's prone to strokes of bias, projection, and outright invention. If your brain can lie about what is happening 3 feet in front of you, editing out the trash on the sidewalk or the subtle shift in a friend's expression, how can you ever trust your judgment on anything more complex? The process of creating reality is a constant, exhausting hallucination. You are not observing the world, you are predicting it. Your brain is a high-speed inference engine, constantly guessing what comes next, and when those predictions fail, your brain doesn't admit defeat, it forces the sensory input to match its expectation. This is why witnesses to the same crime see entirely different events. They aren't seeing what happened, they are seeing what they expect to see, influenced by their own past experiences and biases. It's a survival mechanism that has become a cognitive trap. We are trapped in a feedback loop of our own making, unable to distinguish between the external world and our internal simulations. This leads us to the darkest chapters of psychological research, where the fragility of the human psyche is laid bare. Consider the Milgram experiment, where ordinary people were willing to inflict lethal, high-voltage shocks on strangers simply because an authority figure told them to. They weren't monsters, they were subjects whose internal reality had been overridden by external pressure. They were capable of ignoring their own moral compass because their brains were hijacked by the situation. What does this tell us about our own capacity for evil? Could you be manipulated into doing the unthinkable, simply because your brain is programmed to value social cohesion over objective truth? Or look at the Stanford prison experiment, a descent into madness that revealed just how quickly the human mind can adopt a false identity when placed in a structured environment. These participants weren't acting, they were becoming. Their brains were actively reconfiguring to suit the roles they were assigned, suppressing their inherent personalities in favor of a persona that fit the reality of the prison setting. This is the hidden truth of the human experience: identity is fluid, memory is mutable, and reality is a suggestion. We are constantly being rewritten by our environments, our anxieties, and our biological limitations. Every time you recall a memory, you are not retrieving an old file from a dusty cabinet, you are creating a new one, incorporating the biases of your current moment and the mood you are in today. This means that every time you think about the past, you are changing it. You are the author of a history that never existed, and you are doing it every single day without even realizing it. The implications are staggering. If our past is a fiction, what does that mean for our future? Are we doomed to repeat the same errors because we have forgotten the true nature of the events that shaped us? We are walking through a labyrinth of our own design, where the mirrors are cracked and the exit is a mirage. We cling to our certainties like lifelines, our political affiliations, our religious beliefs, our self-image, but those lifelines are made of frayed, rotten rope. The brain is a master of deception, and the person it deceives most effectively is you. As you sit there, listening to these words, consider the environment around you. Is the chair you are sitting on exactly as you remember it, or is your brain just pulling up a generic, low-fidelity mental model of a chair? Are the colors accurate, or are they being filtered through the lens of your current mood? Is the person standing next to you the same person you met yesterday, or is your brain just filling in the details based on a stale, outdated snapshot from years ago? We are standing on the edge of a psychological precipice, looking down into an abyss of uncertainty. We like to think we are rational agents, but we are merely biological machines running complex, error-prone software. But what happens when the brain's ability to maintain the illusion finally collapses? Is there a point where the fabric of your personal reality tears, revealing the cold, indifferent void beneath, or is the void the only thing that was ever real to begin with? Perhaps the most frightening thought isn't that our reality is a lie, but that we are perfectly happy to keep living inside of it. We prefer the comfortable, manufactured fiction to the jagged, terrifying truth. We are the architects of our own delusions, and we have built a beautiful, impenetrable prison out of the stories we tell ourselves. The next time you feel certain about a memory, or convinced of a fact, remember the victim from 1994. Remember the people who saw the non-existent shopping mall. Remember that your mind is not a record of the truth, it is a creative force that prefers a good story to the cold, hard facts. You are the author, the audience, and the main character of a play that is being rewritten while you are standing on stage. And the curtain is always about to fall on a version of reality that never actually existed. We are wandering through a fog of our own projection, mistaking the shapes in the mist for mountains, oblivious to the fact that we are the ones who put them there. The ultimate question is not whether the world is real, but whether you are brave enough to accept that you will never truly know. You are the master of your own deception, and the irony is that you will never even be able to see the bars of your own cage.